Hey guys, what's up? It's Jamie from Jamie and Nikki here, and I'm a vlogger. And on our vlog, one of the most popular questions that we get asked on a day-to-day basis is, what camera do we use for vlogging, and what cameras would we recommend you guys go out and buy for vlogging? So I just wanted to take a minute to answer all of your questions about vlogging cameras. So first of all, I'm going to talk about some of the cameras that we've had bad experiences with that we wouldn't recommend using. First of all, the iPhone. iPhone was a nightmare to vlog on, guys. I definitely wouldn't recommend it. The thing that I found really annoying with using the iPhone is Apple love to make you buy Apple products, and it has this annoying feature when you're using iPhone footage and editing it in anything that isn't an Apple product. So if you're editing it in anything other than Final Cut or iMovie, then all of a sudden, whenever the light changes, the audio goes out of sync. Another thing that we had a little bit of a fail with was the GoPro. I've got the top of the range GoPro, the Hero Black Edition. While it's an amazing camera, and I think it's incredible for time lapses, for action sports, we still sometimes use it in our vlogs with a suction cap in the car at a wider angle, and it works pretty well like that. For actual vlogging, I found it just doesn't have the right look. The problem with the GoPro is it has a fisheye lens. It's a very wide angle lens. And what that does to get the wide angle is everything in the center of the image looks quite normal, but everything towards the edges becomes stretched out, and it's sort of like a circle, and then everything outside of that circle just looks really weird. So when you're holding it with your hand, your face will look normal, but then all of a sudden your arms just look really weird and concave. So now onto the cameras that I personally think are two of the best out there, and they're both at completely different price ranges. So the first one is one that if you're just wanting to start out vlogging, trying it out, I would recommend getting if you're already a vlogger and you're wanting to step your game up. The second one is the one that I would recommend you guys getting. The first camera is the one that we've been using for the majority of our vlogs. Our friends Gabe and Babe actually recommended this one to us. They have a couple of them, they use it in their vlogs. Also Benji and Judy from It's Judy's Life, they've been using these for a while as well. I'm not sure if they still use them, but they were using them for a while. It's called the Canon PowerShot ELPH 110 HS. And this thing is very, very reasonably priced. You can pick them up on eBay for about 110 US dollars. And in terms of video quality, they're awesome. If you've watched our vlogs, then you know what sort of quality that you get out of one of these things. I wouldn't buy them to take photos. For some reason, the photos that they take are really terrible. You really struggle to get a good photo out of this. You'll get a better photo out of your iPhone than you will out of one of these. But in terms of video, it's really good. Like, it's pretty on point. It's decent for low light. It goes up to 3200 ISO, so you can go out at night time and still vlog and get a decent picture. Like, I wouldn't say it's an amazing picture, but it's a decent picture. The microphone is pretty good on it. One of the downsides is the autofocus is pretty slow. When I say pretty slow, sometimes we'll find ourselves having to just sort of like hold it in front of our face for a couple of seconds, just waiting for it to come into focus, because when we first got it, we would start vlogging, would be, you know, like talking into the camera, and then we'd look at the footage and it was just like completely blurry and out of focus for half of the vlog. So that's one annoying thing. And we found the longer we've had it, the worse the autofocus seems to be. We also find that at night the autofocus is a lot worse than it is in the daytime. Aside from that, I think these are a really great camera. They're really nice and compact. They're about the size of my wallet, so they fit in your pocket really easily. It's not a pain in the butt to just have this in your pocket all day, because when you're vlogging, you never really know when you're gonna vlog or what you're gonna vlog about. So you just kind of want something that you can carry around with you all the time, and this thing is just absolutely awesome for that. So next up, I want to talk about the Canon G7X. This is the one that we've recently just invested in. And when I say invested in, it really is an investment, because it's not as reasonably priced as the ELPH camera. You can pick those, they are pretty pricey, But in saying that, the quality you get out of them is just mind-blowingly incredible. I mean, I'm a videographer as my job, and I'm blown away with what you get out of this camera. The image quality and sharpness is almost on par with my DSLR, which is probably about 4 or 5 times the price of this. One thing that I really love about this camera is that it has a flip screen. You can make sure that you're in the frame while you're vlogging. Also, another cool thing is that it has touch screen focus. So for one, the autofocus is pretty quick, especially in comparison to the last camera that I was talking about. It takes milliseconds most of the time for it to focus. Occasionally there will be times where it won't focus properly, and then literally all you need to do is just touch the screen where your face is, and all of a sudden you'll be in focus. It's just as simple as that. And in terms of filming in low light, it is incredible. I spoke about this one before, having the ability to shoot up to 3200 ISO. This one here shoots up to 12,800 ISO, and it has a lens that goes down to aperture of 1.8. So that's just incredible. This camera literally sees better in the dark than my own eyes do. It's crazy how good it is at night. In terms of taking photos with this camera actually takes really good photos. I've been surprised with how good the photo quality is that comes out of this. So before purchasing this camera, I did my homework. I looked at a lot of its other competitors. Another one that I was looking at was the Sony RX100. While the Sony RX100 was an amazing camera, it's a pretty hard camera to fault. Looking at the image quality of that compared to this, I just found that this just had a crisper image. I just found the colors were nicer. I just found the image just seemed to pop a little bit more on this one. So that's why I went for the Canon over the Sony, and that's why I would recommend anybody asking me which one to go for, I would recommend them to go for this one. So I've talked about all the pros with this camera. Now I'm going to talk about the cons. There isn't really a lot of cons, but there are a couple. The first one that really stands out to me would be its size. When you put these cameras next to each other, you can see that this one is just so much chunkier than this one. It's quite heavy as well. So if you're someone who wears skinny jeans like me, it's really hard to put in your pocket. I just find it's quite awkward having it in my pocket. It's kind of annoying. I still do it because I love the quality that I get out of it, but I really wish that it was smaller. If you're a female vlogger, I don't think that really matters for you because you can just whack it in your handbag and it's, you know, no issue. But if you're a guy, this does kind of suck in your pocket because it's really big. One of the other things that really annoy me about this camera, and this is more because I would love to use this camera as a secondary camera on some of my video jobs, and this is the one issue that stops me from using it, is that it has a so-called manual mode. And with a true manual mode in video, you should be able to control your ISO, your shutter speed, and your aperture so that you can tell the camera what's the proper exposure of the scene rather than the camera choosing it for you. And with my DSLR, I shoot everything in manual. And then there's aperture priority mode where you can choose your aperture and you can choose your ISO, but it's going to choose your shutter speed. And then there's shutter priority mode where you choose your shutter speed and ISO, but it chooses your aperture. So there's no modes where you can actually control everything. And I feel like Canon has cheekily done this just so that you can't do the same sort of things you can do with a DSLR, and so that you have to buy this and a DSLR. But if you don't really need those completely manual features, then this thing has a pretty accurate light meter. It does really well with picking the exposure for you. And I think you'll be really happy with this. So if you're thinking of starting a vlog, or if you've already got one and you just want to step your game up a little bit and get some advice, then I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to leave you guys with some example footage that I've shot on both of these cameras, just so that you can see what sort of image quality you're going to get out of both of these, what sort of sound quality you're going to get out of both of these. I've done a video in the daytime and I've done a video at night. With them side to side, so you guys can get like a really accurate comparison of both of these cameras. So thanks for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of the tips that I shared about vlogging cameras. If you have any more questions about vlogging cameras, especially these two cameras specifically, don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll do my best to get back to you guys. Thanks guys, see ya. Hey guys, what's up? So we're in the city right now. It's the middle of the daytime, so lighting is pretty much perfect for vlogging. I think both of these cameras are gonna look pretty good in the daytime. They both should be pretty sharp, but I'm guessing the G7X is gonna be just a little bit sharper. Also, we're just gonna do a quick autofocus test. I'm gonna pan the cameras away from me, and then I'm gonna pan them back, and we're just gonna see which camera focuses on my face quicker. And then I'm gonna pan them back, and we're just gonna see which camera focuses on my face quicker. I think that they should be relatively similar because the lighting conditions are pretty good. But when you come to later on at night when lighting conditions aren't so good, we're gonna find the autofocus on the G7X is so much faster. So it's about 11 o'clock at night and I'm just down at the local shopping center. And as you can tell, as you would expect, the lighting conditions are really poor. You can still see me really well and really sharp in the G7X. And then the cheaper camera is starting to get a little bit more grain, and obviously you can't see me as well, but you can still see me, so it's still usable footage. But in comparison to the G7X, it's definitely not as good. You're definitely starting to notice a difference now. I'm just gonna do a really quick autofocus test. So I'm just gonna pan the cameras away from me, let them focus on something else. Now I'm just gonna bring them back and we're just gonna see how long it takes for it to focus. The G7X was lightning fast. Now I'm just gonna bring them back and we're just gonna see how long it takes for it to focus. As you can see though, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. With the G7X, you can get a really clean vlog. With the 110HS, it's still usable, but it's no G7X. I'm also going to do a quick photo comparison. I'll turn the flash on both cameras and that'll be the last frame of this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed the review.